Here's Daddy with more Milliput madness.
Today we're going to be taking a look at some trial colours from Milliput, having a look at the Turnmaster by Robert Sorby, and trying my Easy Wood Tools Big Easy Jaws for the first time on the Easy Chuck. I start with the 12-inch ash blank, bowl blank, and I'm mounting that on the faceplate. And I'm start by shaping the outside. I think that's my 1/2-inch bowl gouge, Robert Sorby bowl gouge I'm using there. Just getting it to run true as well. It was quite a difficult blank because if you notice it's two-tone, and half of the wood was much denser heartwood, and so even once it was all trued up it still had quite a wobble, and I couldn't really turn it faster than 700 RPM. But doing a series of push cuts and shear scrapes and pull cuts, and it was a bit frustrating that I couldn't get the lathe speed up at times. I think in fact in these early stages it was probably right down to about 500 RPM or less. Just trying to refine the shape here, working my way round. Square nose scraper there just to even it out, just marking out the bottom for the recess, the mortise for the chuck jaws. Just creating a little undercut, testing the Easy Chuck, make sure it fits. Bit of sanding, 2 coats of spray sanding sealer, cellulose sanding sealer from Chestnut. Then I'm cutting a recess. Used a parting tool and then a carbide tool there. Just creating quite a deep recess because this is going to be a full thickness inlay. And then I'm using a point tool just to create a little groove in each side of the recess to help with retention and gluing. We've got red, green and yellow Milliput. These are trial packs just for me to have a mess with. Don't try and order them because they're not available yet. But we're gauging the response. Milliput are quite keen to know what people want. I'll start by mixing the yellow, same process. 5 minutes of kneading and rolling and folding, and then I'm rolling them out into little worms. Got the red and the green as well. And this was quite a long job, so I put the worms in the fridge while I was doing all this. I'm painting the recess with a slow set epoxy resin. This will help it bond, because it's going to be a full thickness inlay, so I really need to make sure that's well bonded in. I'm just putting a line of black each side of the recess, and this will just help create sort of a nice sharp line on the edge of the recess with the pattern I've got in mind. I'm not too worried about it being neat because it's going to be a slightly random pattern. Here's the red, green and yellow worms out the fridge. And what I'm doing is kind of making a rope. Giving it a twist. Looks a bit like candy at the moment. And rolling that. I'd probably do this slightly differently if I did it again. This was trying something new really. Just squidging it all in. Making sure you don't leave any voids and leaving it slightly proud. And there it is, all ready. I then leave it overnight. I got another parcel. This time from my friends at Robert Sorby. I actually got this parcel a little while ago when I was in hospital. And this is the first chance I've really had to mess about with it. And my friends at Robert Sorby sent me this because they've seen that I've been using carbide tools and I've started doing some resin work. So they've sent me their carbide tool to try, to see what I think. And here it is. It's called the Turnmaster. And this is the handled Turnmaster, because they do a couple of versions of this. And this is the carbide version of the Turnmaster. It comes with a few bits. Set of instructions, a little bag, spanner, Tommy bar, Allen wrench, a spare screw, and 2 more tungsten carbide tips. So it comes with a diamond detailing tip, a square tip, and a round tip. With this tool you can use the one handle with 3 different tips, and they all fit. It's got a multi-handle on it. But the other thing that's a bit different with this is that you don't have to use it flat as you do with other carbide tools. You can index. It's got an indexable tip, so you can have it. You can angle it 45 degrees one way or 45 degrees the other way for doing shear scraping or shear cutting. So you can do up the collet, and it's got this wrench just for tightening up the collet to make sure it doesn't move. And there's a Tommy bar there so that you can really tighten it up properly. If I don't drop the Tommy bar everywhere. It is a very different design. It has got a bulkier head section to it, and it does mean that you have to have the tool rest a bit further away from the workpiece to accommodate this collar, which some people won't like because obviously it's about turning forces. So there will be a bit more overhang, but it has got this very, very thick shaft on it to reduce the chances of chatter. Handle wise, got a nice handle on it. I think if I was being picky, I'd probably say that the Sovereign version of this is probably more useful in a way, because I think where you've got a slightly bigger overhang on the tool rest, the longer handle option on the Sovereign set that you can get, because they do this in the Sovereign set where it comes with a complete set of heads and things. I think it just offer a little bit more control where it's going to be a bit further overhanging the tool rest. But I've got a specific task I have in mind for this. I'm working on an ash bowl at the minute. Well, it's the one that you will see in this video, I think. And ash can tear out quite badly, and it can tear out quite deeply, and it's difficult to turn that out. So I'm hoping that if I can angle this at 45 degrees, and it's got this lovely flat section on the bottom of the shaft, hoping I can get some nice control going across there and see if I can reduce tear out. I'll do most of the hollowing with a gouge and perhaps use this for finishing. But you know, if it works like that, I would probably be inclined to dedicate this tool just for that purpose, really. And I would even think about getting perhaps a high-speed steel tip for this. But yeah, I mean, I don't know whether I would change the tips on this very often. I'm not very good at interchangeable things. I like one tool for one job. But yeah, we'll give it a try and see how it goes. Back on the lathe, you can see the pattern there and how it looks. And this is the reveal. I start turning it back. Some lovely coloured shavings off this. And I'm just sanding it now. A couple of coats of sanding sealer, and then it's Yorkshire Grit on it. And it just comes up beautiful. Really nice. I've turned it round, put it on the easy chuck. Just setting up my depth gauge there. And here I'm hollowing. I think I used mainly my 1/2 inch bowl gouge for this. I've angled the headstock on the lathe just to give me a better angle on the hollowing, so I can support the tool handle against my gut. Just working my way, get hollowing it more and more. Got some nice shavings coming off. It's very dry, this wood. Here I'm having a go with the Toolmaster, trying at different angles and different techniques. Back to my bowl gouge for a bit. I kept alternating between the tools, and I was trying it pushing and pulling and flat and changing it, like I say, changing the angle. And dragging it up the face of the bowl worked well with it, 45 degrees. I was just alternating between different tools really. I do like hollowing with a gouge, I have to say. I was just testing the depth there, make sure I haven't gone too far. But a nice sharp bowl gouge is very satisfying to use. Just getting the rim almost to the width I want. And I'll do that before I hollow the whole bowl, because you can start to get a bit of chatter, or it sings a bit, otherwise you get a lot of vibration if you make the whole bowl thin before you start trying to finish the rim. So I left a bit of bulk in the base while I was doing the rim, especially as I've got that Milliput pattern there. And you can see the pattern emerging as I turn through to it. I actually made this quite thin, this bowl. It's a lot thinner than I was intending. Well, I've finished the bowl, or largely finished the bowl. So let's get it off the lathe and have a look at it. Undo me easy chuck jaws. There it is. I haven't finished the bottom yet. I'm going to try and use my big easy jaws for the first time on the easy chuck in a minute. But that's it. Ash 12-inch bowl with multicoloured Milliput inlay, and it's a through and through inlay, goes right through one side to the other. Very pleased with that. I mean, a little bit poor finish on one bit inside, but it's getting a bit thin, and it was just beginning to warp a little bit, and I thought if I try and turn that out I'm going to have a calamity, so I stopped, and I'm glad I did, having taken some more measurements. It is very thin in places, but yeah, very pleased with that on the whole. And this is the new Milliput colours that I'm just trialling. These are not available yet, so don't try and order any or contact Milliput about it, because they are not readily available at the moment. This was just a couple of samples that I'm trying. Red, yellow and green, and I think they are fantastic colours. And really what I'd like you to do with this video is to leave in the comment section colours you'd like to see, or you know, whether you like these colours, and because Milliput are going to produce some more colours and they're just trying to gauge what people want. They really enjoyed interacting with their customers at Makers Central, so you don't usually get a chance to do that. I think red, green and yellow are really good. I'd really like to see a turquoise, because I think it goes really well in wood turning and inlays in wood, and a turquoise Milliput would be really something special. So That's what I'd like to see, these three colours and turquoise. But leave some comments. Yeah, let me know in the comments, and Milliput will read them and see what they want to do. That's the bowl. I'll put that to one side where I'm not going to stand on it or something. And here's the Robert Sorby Turnmaster. And I've certainly been trying it out, hollowing the bowl and finishing the sides of the bowl and things, and I actually used it several times during the hollowing, just to get a feel for the tool. It takes quite a bit of mastering. I tried it with the with it level, 45 degrees one way, 45 degrees the other way, and tried it all different ways, and yeah, I mean, it cuts very nicely. It is a bit trickier to use than some of my tools. You do have to have the tool rest further away from the workpiece, and you really have to hold this tight because the handle is quite short. To give you an idea, with the handle, that's a Sorby 1/2 inch bowl gouge, and you can see that's got a much bigger handle on it, much longer handle. And if you compare it to an Easy Wood Tools carbide, I mean, that is a seriously long handle, and I do really like long handled tools, especially for hollowing, because there's an awful lot of turning force, you know, a turning moment about that pivot point on the tool rest. So I think the Sovereign version of this would probably be easier to use because it has got that longer handle option. I think that the collar is really nicely engineered. I really like the build quality on this, on the tip and the collar and everything. I think it's really nice, but it does get in the way a bit. I prefer having the tool rest closer. And the other thing is, when you're taking a sweep up the side of the bowl, this will then catch on the tool rest, so you won't complete your sweep unless you move the tool rest out even further. And then of course the overhang is really great, and you know, if you're on a bowl like that one I've just done, you know, that's quite a lot of turning force on this end of the handle, and it's very easy for that to grab and get a catch. So yeah, a longer handle would be good, but very nicely engineered tool. And you know, if you want to see some more information on it, Robert Sorby on their own channel have done a couple of really good videos on it, which will give you a lot more information, because I've not put this through its paces properly. I've not done any spindle turning. I didn't use it on the outside of the bowl, so it's got a lot more potential, but it does take a bit of getting used to. But it's got a choice of different tips. You've got high-speed steel tips, titanium coated tips, and these carbide tips, and they do different shape tips as well. These carbide tips you can sharpen on a diamond hone. You take them off, turn them upside down and rub them on a diamond hone with some honing oil, and so you can bring them up. But that's it, the Robert Sorby Turnmaster. Next job is to put the big easy jaws on my easy chuck. So just pop those out. I'm just removing the step jaws. I've already built the big easies. So first time I've used these. I'll just slot those into place. How easy is that? There we are. All ready to reverse the bowl and turn the bottom, if it doesn't fly to bits. So we've got the extra long wrench for the easy chuck when these jaws are in, the big easy jaws. So I'm just going to expand that. In fact, we can use the zoom ring. then we'll place the bowl in there. Start by using the zoom ring just to bring the bushes up against the side of the bowl, and then I'm using the extra long wrench to tighten it. And I'm using a Easywood Tools Easy Finisher here just to skim away that recess, make it look a bit more professional. And I'm holding the tool at an angle so that it acts as a negative rake scraper, just so I don't get tear out. Bit of sanding and branding, then finishing with Yorkshire Grit and wax. And here's the finished bowl. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Like I say, don't try and order any of this Milliput yet because it's not available yet. And thank you very much to all my subscribers. Please like, share and subscribe. It helps me a lot. I'll be back soon with some more videos.
More rubbish coming soon.